Drag shows in the military. It was an idea so stupid that people who allowed it are seeing professional consequences thanks to our terrific Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. We've just got news that the Department of Defense is withdrawing the nomination of Admiral Michael Donnelly for Vice Admiral and Commander of the 7th Fleet after discovering he permitted drag shows on the USS Ronald Reagan. You'll remember former Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin denied that drag shows were happening until I showed him the receipts.
How much taxpayer money should go to fund drag queen story hours on military bases? You were going to fund one at Ramstein Air Force Base. That one got canceled, but that's DOD insignia. That's a drag queen story hour for children. Then also at Malmstrom Air Force Base outside of Great Falls, Montana, you had a drag queen story hour for kids. At the Joint Base Langley Eustis, you put on a drag Queen Story Hour on a Saturday for the first ever kid-friendly Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Summer Festival. And at Nellis Air Force Base, you had the Drag You Nellis on June 17th. Who funded these things, Mr. Secretary?
Listen, drag shows are not something that the Department of Defense supports or funds.
Why are they happening on military bases? I just showed you the evidence.
I will say again, this is not something that we support or fund.
Joining us now, fellow at the Rainey Center for Public Policy, Rob Smith, and former counterterrorism intel officer and host of This Is My Show, Drew Berquist. So I'll start with you, Rob. We have this Vice Admiral not get command of the 7th Fleet because of the drag shows that were hosted on the USS Ronald Reagan. Do you think that's a fair punishment?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a fair punishment. And Matt, I kind of just want to all come back a little bit and think about how ridiculous that sentence that you just uttered was. Not because of the sentence itself, but because this is actually what was going on. And look, it is very obvious that the military under the Biden administration and the Austin Secretary of Defense was very much politicized. The way they decided to play politics was to push the far-left LGBT propaganda everywhere, including our United States military. This is obviously a game that Pete Hegseth is not playing and refuses to play and doesn't want the military of 2025 to get confused with the military of the previous era. So it is absolutely a very fair punishment that we don't have an admiral that once presided over drag shows that were happening on ships under his fleet.
Drew, you've been on the program a number of times to talk about the very serious things that our military and our intelligence apparatus confront in the world today. What does it mean to get back to this type of mission focus, and what message does it send to people who are still operating these missions and feeding in the intel and the operational work?
I think it sends the message that we're back, Matt. I think it says, hey, go do God's work again. We're taking the handcuffs off. We're taking away these distractions. We're taking away social experiments, which even though most people who are operators out in the field, look, when I was out there, if you'd see or hear something like that, this didn't happen that much back then. We might have had a knitting club at the agency or something like that, but this wasn't as prevalent. But, you see that's like, that's dumb. But I'm going to keep doing my mission. But it does start to creep into your mind like, well, what's leadership going to do next? And what are they going to do to us to prevent us from doing the work that they sent us to do? So I think it sends a resoundingly positive message to the people in the field.
Rob, how long is it going to take to root this stuff out? Can the leadership at the Pentagon make a few high-profile moves like this and send shockwaves through the system to recorrect? Or is this something that's going to require more constant maintenance, in your opinion?
It's going to require more constant maintenance, Matt, because I don't think that people understand how deeply the rot goes. It's not just this example of, this guy having the drag shows under his fleet, et cetera. It's all of the DEI stuff that went into the military. And I'm not talking about, people being put in positions or whatever. I'm talking about like the actual DEI trainings, the woke trainings, all of that stuff. Now that stuff, a lot of it is being moved out under Pete Hegseth, but it's going to take a long time to really make a cultural shift, I believe, in the United States military, because if it doesn't make that cultural shift, then whatever happens in the post-Trump era, it's just going to go right back to where it was. So I think that this is a part of a broader, longer process to really, number one, not reward people that presided over crap like that with high-profile appointments, but to also root the entire culture of wokeness out of the military, because literally what took a decade plus to enter can't just be wiped out in 7 months, unfortunately. So they're going to have to keep on going with this.
The shift you seem to be describing is a shift to a meritocracy. Drew, do you think that our intelligence services and our military are a meritocracy today?
No, I don't think that they are. I think that there's parts that are, but I think that, as Rob was bringing up there, I mean, the rot is so deep. Has been so lost in the sauce for so long, really dating back to the Obama administration, that it is tough. So you have people. I mean, frankly speaking, most of the people in the intel world and the three-letter agencies who are promoted are people that no one likes in that office, any given office, and aren't good at their job. And instead of firing people, which now, thank God, President Trump is doing, they just get promoted up. So there's a lot of, grandfathered in and people who are going the wrong way. So meritocracy has never been a thing that's been present there, but it certainly needs to be.
Well, and it seems like this is the way to get back, to show folks that if you go do strange stuff that distracts from the core mission, then you're going to be held accountable down the road when there are other professional opportunities that might not befall you. Rob Smith and Drew Berquist, thank you both for your service to the country and for joining us with your expertise.
Thanks, Matt, and congrats on the little one that's coming up.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you both.